Hello all my beanie weenies and welcome back to my channel. I am of course Sims Hotdogs. And after a long wait, we are finally back for the first episode of The Sims 4 The Traitors. Previously, I introduced you to the 20 Sims that will be entering this castle and playing one of the most intense murder mystery games. Now we have a lot to get into and a lot to explain. I have completely taken over the island in Windenburg and have not only built this castle but have imported lots from the gallery to completely decorate it and use for fun challenges. Now throughout the series our 10 females and 10 males will be competing in challenges to not only earn themselves immunity from being murdered, but they will also be earning money for the prize fund, and whichever Sims are able to get to the end will win the collection that they have been building. Now, right now, our Sims are racing through the forest to make their way to the greenhouse, where the first challenge will be taking place. Now, almost all of the Sims kept up with each other's pace and have made it to the greenhouse just seconds apart. Except for Salem, who does have the lazy trait and has decided to take his sweet time coming down here. But once all the Sims have finally arrived, we are able to start our first challenge. Now, I want to welcome you all to the castle, but we can't really do a cheers without some booze. So, based on when you got to the greenhouse is going to determine which of the 4 teams you are a part of. Team 1 consists of Eric, Gunther, Eva, Grace, and Ian, while Team 2 consists of Jed, Mortimer, Lily, Jess, and Leah. Team 3 is Naoki, Megumi, Sienna, Nancy, and Salem. And last, Team 4 is Ted, Thorn, Arnessa, Thee, and Dawn. In just a moment, one by one, you guys will take turns running around the lot and collecting grapes. Once 10 grapes have been collected, you can put them into your barrel and begin stomping. The first team to get the wine the fastest and worth the most amount of money will win. On your mark, get set, go! Now, immediately, this competition is chaotic, and it's pretty hard to tell what's going on. All of the Sims are running around like chickens with their head cut off, and even though it is pretty stressful, everyone still seems to be having a lot of fun. All of them have smiles on their faces and are really enjoying this first competition. Well, most of them are.
Genau, Horaza.
As mentioned earlier, each team has to collect 10 grapes. And that does mean that with 5 members on the team, each person's gonna have to collect 2. But it looks as though Salem's team is gonna have to take a few more turns because he's decided that he wants to eat the grapes instead of collecting them. Grace, however, is now on her way to collect her second set of grapes. While all of the other teams seem to be focusing on the challenge at hand, team number 4 isn't exactly doing that. Even though they had a sweet introduction, Ted soon breaks into an argument against Thee. But Thee isn't left standing there alone, as soon her whole team backs her up and they all start to argue with Ted. Over this argument, we see that Don soon discovers that he dislikes malicious interactions. And, I mean, duh, does anyone really enjoy them? I mean, I guess Ted does. But while they argue, all the other teams are getting slightly in the lead as they're continuing to collect their grapes.
Let's go! Woohoo!
Ukaru. Yakula Brugi.
And now that Gunther has made it back with his second set of grapes, Team 1 has all 10 and they can begin smashing. And while Team 1 has taken the lead, Team 3 is not far behind. We see Nancy is the chosen one to put the grapes in the bucket and climb on in.
Where's the dip?
Storm of flame.
Once Mortimer brings his last set of grapes over, Jeb goes ahead and takes them and puts them into the barrel and starts smashing for team number 2, while Thorn is closely behind for team number 4. Now once again we're going to be looking to see which team makes the most expensive wine, but in the fastest amount of time. So even though Grace is in the lead, just because she finishes first doesn't necessarily mean she's going to win if that wine quality is really low. But we do see that Grace soon finishes up with stomping those grapes and goes ahead and seals that bottle of wine, completing the task for her team. And I gotta say, even though Team 4 is in last place, I'm kind of loving them so far, the way that Thea just got into an argument and just doesn't even care about the competition in front of her. She's just talking on the phone. You couldn't even tell that she was on a reality show right now. Meanwhile, team number 3 has finished and Nancy is just now sealing up that bottle. However, she doesn't seem too confident that it's gonna score her the win. And it's an incredibly close race for third place, as both Jeb and Thorn race to close their bottle. And it's honestly kind of impossible to tell which one was the fastest, so we are going to go ahead and look and see how much each team scored. Now first to finish was team number 1, and they scored a $55 bottle of wine, while team number 3 scored also $55. Team number 2 scored also $55, keeping team number 1 in the lead. However, that crazy team number 4 managed to get a $110 bottle of wine. So even though they were in last place when it came to speed, they got double the amount that anyone else received, so that automatically gave them the win. Congratulations, Thorn, Dawn, Thea, Arnessa, and Ted. For completing this challenge, 10,000 simoleons will be added to the prize fund. And team number 4, all of you will be safe from the first murder. And now that we have the alcohol, why don't all of you race back up to the castle and explore your new home? All 20 of our Sims have scattered around the castle. First, we're going to spy on Ted, who has made his way into the dining room past all the Sim portraits and into the little library, where Arnessa soon joins him in a game of chess.
You bow.
In the living room, we see that Sienna and Jess are enjoying some wine and bonding by the fire.
Ooh,
While behind them, Jed, Salem, and Don enjoy a game of pool. But of course, it doesn't last very long as somehow the fireplace makes something on the ceiling catch fire, which then goes up to the second floor. Anyway, it makes everyone in the house freak out. Thankfully, our two eldest Sims, Arnessa and Ted, were there to save the day and put out the fire. And of course, Don and Jed just haven't even noticed. They've just keep playing pool and the fire just doesn't even faze them. Later on in the night, once everyone has calmed down from the fire, we see that almost all of our Sims are gathered in the bar upstairs. While Eva is serving up drinks, everyone is getting to know each other, chatting, drinking, and playing some games. The atmosphere is a little bit awkward though, as no traitors have been selected yet, so none of the Sims really know who they can trust, because later on their best friend might turn into their worst enemy. And Lily hasn't been feeling good at all day, and it doesn't seem that the wine is helping too much. Meanwhile, out in the hallway, while Arnessa is playing the piano, Dawn and Naoki get to know each other a little bit better. Nancy Landgrab is not the only rich Sim in the castle this year. However, she is already complaining about the size. When she goes upstairs to the bar, she is not too happy about the amount of people in there and not too happy about the amount of wine either. However, outside we still have some Sims gathered in the backyard after the fire. Right now the only ones remaining seem to be Gunther, Ian, and Jess. However, after not being entertained by the party upstairs, Nancy soon joins them and is quickly followed by Ted. Could this be an alliance forming?
Moochie Peachy, Kerbixta, Nazar, Bisweb, Asana, Zilnabe, Pomeray.
The Sims have been able to explore the castle all day today. However, there is one room they have not been able to enter yet. This is the square table room, where very hard decisions will be made, starting tonight, as 3 traitors need to be selected out of the Sims. So everyone, please go ahead, quit what you're doing, and gather in the square table room immediately. Unfortunately, it has gotten pretty late in the night, and it seems as though our 2 Strangerville residents, Ted and Jess, are taking their sweet time getting to the chairs as they're currently possessed by the mother plant. This is going to happen every night while they're in the house, unfortunately.
Be nasa.
Alright Sims, this is where the game officially gets started. 20 of you have entered my castle for the ultimate murder mystery game. And in order for us to do the murders, we're gonna need some traitors. I'm going to randomly select 3 of you to become traitors, and your job will be to murder your fellow Sims. If any traitor gets to the end, they will take all the money and the faithfuls will leave empty-handed. Now I have put all of your names onto a wheel, and in just a moment we're going to spin the wheel. And whichever house guest it lands on, they will become a traitor. And I will not be revealing it to any of the other Sims or even you guys at home. But go ahead and take your guesses, because the traitors will not be revealed unless they are voted out here in the square table room or make it to the end. The first and second traitor have been selected among you. Only one is left.
Yes.
Alright, and just like that, 3 of you have become traitors. And tonight you will meet in the tower in secret, meet one another, and choose which Sim you are going to murder. So, sweet dreams, my little faithfuls and traitors, and only 19 of you will wake up in the morning. And while our Sims are heading to bed, finding which room they're going to settle down in, I am going to take this time to say sorry for the hiatus. Obviously, I had set a date for this video to be posted, but before I could get there, I ended up losing, well, first I started working like 60 hours a week and I had no time to work on the show, and then I decided to leave that job and I had to find a new one. So in that time, I didn't want to work on the show. It felt a bit irresponsible. I had other fish to fry, bigger things to do, so I was focusing on that. And now that I've got that settled, I'm just kind of figuring out my schedule and getting back into the groove of things, but I am sorry that it didn't work out. As of right now, I will be posting videos kind of randomly, so just kind of hang in there and stay tuned. It might not be 2 every single week, but I'm going to try to get them out to you as quick as possible. One by one, the traitors will accept or decline my offer. However, we're going to make them accept every single time, because why would you decline to be a traitor? So they're all just going to accept. However, even though they are anonymous, you can get some hints and clues as to who they are by looking at them. A little glimpse of who they are behind that cloak and mask, as our first traitor heads upstairs to the tower. And next up is the second traitor. And instead of just accepting and going on upstairs, of course they have to chit-chat. It's The Sims. They have to sit down somewhere nearby and turn all the way around to talk to someone, you know, something stupid. So here, of course, Hotdogs and this new traitor are chit-chatting away. However, we really don't have time for that, as the night is dwindling and someone has to die before the sun rises. So I quickly escort the next traitor up the stairs while the third one makes their way around the corner.
Shomba Fallaru, Subao, Plefaya.
Ooh, honey.
Alright, it's official. All 3 traitors have been cloaked and masked, and they are heading up to the tower to make their first murder.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Now, the three of them will murder someone based on who they are least closest to, and they're all going to have a vote. Now, if there's a tie, they will re-vote and all that stuff. However, you will not get to find out who they vote for or who gets murdered until the next episode. So make sure you like, subscribe, hit the bell. That way you're notified for when there is a new episode. It might take me a little bit, but not as long as it did before. And I'll see you then, okay? Bye.